It's interesting that when you say some things like that, there's one thing that always comes to mind, and that's in the election with Franken, Al Franken, when at the last minute he was behind, and all of a sudden, a guy drives up with a whole bunch of ballots in the trunk of his car. And and they are counted. And you have to think, when you're looking at police shows and things like that, there's this chain of evidence. There was no chain of evidence there. Some guy shows up with a bunch of ballots in the trunk of his car, says, you got to count these ballots. And the problem is, that is such an obvious thing. I mean, you look at that and you say, well, if you go to court, that certainly should be thrown out. But yet, the judicial system is just as bought and paid for as everything else.
It is. And in fact, the election system was used to put in the current judicial system. The election system has been used to infect every part of our society and place people in these positions. So that's why we can't get it out there. That's why we can't fix this problem easily. And it's going to take waking up a country so they realize where we're actually at with our elections. One thing that would really help is if people buy the book Vote Scam, VOTESCAM. It was written by the Collier brothers in the, I believe, early 90s. And one of them ran for office prior to the book being written, and they found voter fraud, rampant voter fraud, when they started investigating, and they tried everything they could to try to expose it. They even went to Janet Reno and couldn't get anywhere. So they decided to write a book. Well, if you read that book today, you will think it was written today, because it is the Groundhog Day of election fraud. And the same thing that was happening in the 90s is still happening to this day. The technology changes, the players change a little bit, but the basic types of manipulation, the games, the withholding of information, the manipulation with the media, blocking citizens accessing, it's all the same thing, just newer technology.